Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to Rise Up After Dark.
Rise up after dark.
Damn, man, that might be the last time we get to play that jingle on TikTok, and it just hits different.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, welcome. You're in the right place for expert commentary, altcoin research, answers to your crypto questions, but with our hair down. It's the Rise Up Morning Show crew after dark. We've got our beverages tonight. My beverage is water and tea because I'm feeling a little under the weather. And our guest is Phin Totten, marketing lead at Abstract. You can play along at absabs.xyz. Phin, welcome to the show. I want to explain to you how we do things here, which is that, we're going to have a conversation, but I play a game with all our guests where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. Like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
When you
It's
hear this,
absolutely rigged. 100%
It's absolutely
rigged.
rigged.
No, I'm
Yeah.
super ready then. I love rigged games.
and when you hear this sound, that means you have earned a point. And I actually think I'm going to start doing if I want to deduct points. That's a new
Ooh,
feature.
I
We're
like
shipping a
that,
new
yeah.
feature.
No, let's
So,
do features on the fly. Let's
I don't
And
like
just-
that you've now got the ability to take my points away in addition to not giving me enough.
Yeah,
man.
it's
just
kind of a double
stupid.
whammy, isn't it?
But you know what? I'm a good player, but I've never won. So not because I don't come hard, but because we have some interesting guests who usually have a lot of cool things to say, and I'm sure you'll be a great player on this game.
Hope so.
Without any further ado, Phin,
No
man,
pressure.
do you
Yeah.
want to introduce yourself and
Sure.
tell us a little bit about Abstract and what you do there?
Yeah. So I'm the marketing lead here with Cube Labs. So I contribute to Abstract. Yeah, I've been in creative marketing for about 8 years. Been in social media marketing for almost my entire life.
Yeah, and you have an
Um,
impressive resume in crypto.
Yes. Yeah. Inside of crypto too. Yeah. So I've worked for the Ronin Network. Worked for a couple of Web3 games. I also worked previously with a company called Super Plastic, which was like a creative entertainment company. We ended up bringing Tommy Hilfiger and Gucci and Mercedes-Benz into crypto. Made some really cool products with them.
Woof.
Yeah, super fun stuff. Really had a blast doing that for a couple of years. And now I'm kind of gone through the ringer of crypto, and these days I'm working on Abstract.
Very cool. And how did you come to marketing to crypto? Like, what's the interest there for you? And also, you got to tell us about Cars by Phin, because the handle
Sure.
I'm curious about.
So how did I end up marketing crypto specifically for Abstract? To be honest, I'd worked in kind of weird areas of marketing for a long time. I kind of got my start working with rappers and artists.
Nice.
And was doing that. Ended up working with these guys that I had grown up with. Doing entertainment stuff, and ended up getting they got a record deal with Chance the Rapper as co-signed. Kind of got pulled into this weird area. And then while that's happening, I got approached by a company who was like, "Hey, we're making synthetic influencers. You should come work for us." And I was like,
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but this seems weird and kind of cool, and you're willing to pay me to come and work here. Okay, sure. So I went and did that for a while.
Is that like an AI thing, like fake crypto Twitter?
It wasn't AI. This was in 2019, pre NFTs, really, like pre NFT hype. There was a company called Super Plastic. So they were a collectible toy company that had these like digital influencer cartoon characters of the toys. And so the toys lived out their lives on social media, but they were really fucked up and weird. Really fucked up and weird. They tried to kill each other, and they would get sucked through wood choppers and all
Sure.
this stuff.
Kind of like the Gorillas or something like that. Not
Yes.
real, but real.
Funny enough, you say that.
Yeah.
We also worked with the Gorillas. I
No
have some
way.
toys back here, but we did a
Bullish.
whole 4 lines of Gorillas toys. We were the exclusive toy producer for them for a long time. But yeah, so we was doing that for a while. Kind of got bored. I'm a car enthusiast myself, so that was the other passion. Ended up leaving and going to work for a car company for a while. Got bored of that, came back, and then the company, Super Plastic was like, "Hey, we're doing NFTs." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I had bought ETH and Bitcoin, little bits here and there. I understood the basics. I think I bought some Doge. And then I got thrown into the deep end of NFT mania and hype in 2021. Ended up working with Super Plastic on a ton of mints across about a year and a half through a lot of projects. And it was pretty cool. It was like, we worked with Shopify, did the first ever credit card transactions for NFTs.
Wow.
We worked with Christie's Auction House. They actually let us like animate and blow up Christie's Auction House as part of our like NFT launch, which was cool.
I remember seeing that in the news.
Yes, very cool. And then so worked for them for a while, did a ton of stuff. We made Bored Ape toys and talked to all of these different teams, and I ended up kind of just getting to a point where in about late 2022 I was just a little bit over what I was doing there. I didn't feel like we were progressing where I wanted to, and so I kind of was like, I'm gonna try something new, and kind of sucked off into the gaming world. Was doing that for a while, worked for the Ronin blockchain for a year, a couple of Web3 games, did content creation with friends, and then had always been a fan of Luca and had the opportunity to chat with him when he needed a marketing lead, and we kind of had some good talks and ended up here.
Hell yeah. What about your cars? Cars by Phin.
Yeah, I have a few of them.
Okay. Misty, our friend who moderator in our community, big fan of Abstract, wanted to know, have you wrapped one of your cars green yet? Abstract's green.
It's been the question. I have promised that after mainnet launches, one of my cars will get wrapped green as soon as possible. I have to book it in, but yeah, I'll wrap one of the cars green.
Alex, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited to hear more about like the approach by Luca. Did you talk to him? Did he talk to you? And how did you come to be where you are now?
Agreed.
Yeah, so it was a two-part actually. So about a year and a half ago, I forget how it happened. Me and Luca had talked toys in the past when I was with Super Plastic, and so we had some sort of connection point. And so he knew I had done all of the TikTok work at Super Plastic, and obviously like I'd grown that account about like 15 or 20 million followers at the time. So we had a significant amount of TikTok following. We were closing in on 1 billion views on the account, like crazy metrics across the board. And so he had known about that, and so we started talking about doing some work for Pudgy, and I actually ended up saying no at the time, which was kind of funny. Don't know why. I don't know if it was just like that was how I was feeling at the time, but it ended up being a good move. So I said no. And then he posted again that kind of maybe 6 months ago, that they were looking for a marketing lead. And, I was like, you know what? I'm going to shoot them a text. See, hey, what if we talked again now?
Yeah.
And we had to pop in the phone, and I got pitched the vision of Abstract and a pitch of what Luca's grand vision was for everything, and I kind of was like, you know what, if this is what you want to do, like I'm in, if you'll have me. And thankfully they really were super down for me to come in and work with them. I obviously had known the team, so that was kind of helpful, and I'd had dinner with a few of the guys before, so they knew who I was and they knew my background, and we kind of just collectively agreed to see what would happen, and now we're 5 months later, and
and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, a lot better than I hoped. Not a lot better than I hoped. Better than I expected, I think, maybe. It's always, you never know, right? Like, you always kind of have like what you're like, what you want. You think you know how to get there, but you don't know what's going to happen along the way. And I think I'm in that phase of like, I didn't know exactly what would happen along the way, but I'm not upset about it.
So if you're just joining us really quick, Al, our guest is Phin Totten. He's the marketing lead at Abstract. And I would love for you to tap the screen or let people know this is a helpful live. Where else are you going to get primary sources like this on TikTok if you're trying to understand the crypto industry? Or throw a penguin in the chat or an igloo or something. I don't know what kind of emoji there is, but let people know that this is helpful content.
I think there's a little penguin head.
I think there is too. I'm bullish on the little penguin head. And then if you want to connect with Phin or you want to connect with us, you're seeing us for the first time, all of our links are on the screen. We've got them in the description below if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube. And we would love to have your questions for Phin. But Al, I interrupted you, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, one of the things that I found interesting about the whole thing was that you have this affiliation with the behemoth that is the Pudgy brand. And actually for a smidge, like a time I'm almost embarrassed to reveal, between when I first discovered that Abstract was a thing and the time I discovered that Pudgy was involved was not like an hour. It was like a while. And I always thought that was interesting in retrospect, that like they aren't just out kind of shilling it as like the Pudgy chain.
That was a
really
very
don't.
conscious decision.
I kind of figured it was.
Can you
and
elaborate on that?
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah. So when
Like, what's the relationship?
Yeah, so the relationship is pretty simple. We are both owned by the same parent company. So Igloo is the parent company.
Okay.
Cube Labs, which is the contributor to Abstract, and Pudgy are owned by the same. So they're both owned by Igloo. Yeah, so when I came in, one of the biggest struggles I had was that when I asked or talked about Abstract or mentioned it, most of the people who would respond to me would go, "Oh, that's the Pudgy chain." And I was sitting there to myself and I was like, okay, so this is like recognition, right? Like this is tier 1 recognition, phase 1, right? This is where everyone starts. It's the understanding by association function. It's where you know what something is because of something adjacent to it, but you don't know what it is, right? You just know that it's an adjacent interaction. And that's how like most of us operate in like most things in our life, is that we have like adjacent understanding of simple things where we go like, I know what this is because I know of a thing next to it. So I knew that was enough to get us like in the door in like most conversations and in most interaction. But I also knew that the next step and where you actually have to like push past that is like, then you have to get people to disconnect from the mutual understanding and just have like a straight understanding.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I relied on Pudgy or I relied on that community or anything, that we would kind of just be stuck in that for quite some time. And the goal was to break out of that. I really wanted to break out of that. And so the push was to basically say, okay, without using Pudgy's existing community, without using Pudgy's existing distribution models, like, can I make people know what this product is? And that was the big push. That was the main thing. And I would tell, every creator I talked to on the phone, every person I had a conversation with, I would always just lead with who we were and what we were doing. And I would only explain the relationship or correlation to Pudgy if explicitly asked. Because to me, that was like if I get into that conversation, I'm reinforcing this kind of like affiliation understanding. And I didn't want that. I really wanted people to be able to say Abstract and go, that's super amazing. That's super cool. They do stuff with Pudgy. I think there's a relationship. But the last thing you ever want to be as a solo brand or solo entity is just to be known as that like affiliate. It's like when you think of the like, there's like a celebrity and then there's like kind of the people around the celebrity. It's like the Adam Sandler and then Adam Sandler's friends. You don't want to be Adam
or
Sandler's
like
friends.
Scottie Pippen, who played with Michael Jordan.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's like you'll always have that. And you always want to, like the goal in anything in marketing is like always trying to like, either you take full advantage of that and you accept it, which is fine. Some people do that.
Sure.
Some people are happy to kind of ride coattails for their lives. And that works for them. Or they have to do anything and everything they can to break that correlation distinction. And for me, I think my personal choice was to do it that way. And I think that was the right move. And I'm pretty like excited that these days, like are now more of like, I don't understand the relationship. And I'm like, good, you shouldn't. Like, I want you to not think of these as an interconnected piece and actually be able to like spread them apart. So yeah.
Yeah, that was actually how I first drew the line. Was I think Luca post something about the streaming platform, and he mentioned something, and that was my first connection. I was like, oh, okay, so Luca's gonna stream, or there's gonna be something there.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, God, Pudgy's everywhere. And and then I was like, wait a second. And so do you want to? I know you mentioned, that there's obviously. The whole point of Abstract, at least from what I've seen so far, is really to drill down into the consumer niche that has been weirdly neglected in Web3 for some reason. Everyone's tagline is onboarding a billion, and there's almost no focus on
the products are only marketed towards crypto users.
Yeah, and did you see the tweet that was like, or it's infrastructure. We've built a 10-lane highway for 4 cars.
Yes.
But like it's like we built a 10-lane highway for 4 cars that nobody else in the world uses
even knows
those.
about it, yeah.
Or knows about, or like it's like, imagine it's like you go to like a modern high school and you bring a stick shift car to like teach driver's ed. Like you're gonna have such a hard time versus if you just brought an automatic car. Like it's that mantra of like you're making things that like we all can collectively look at and go like, why are we doing like
something about really like, weird. It's
what
really
you said
weird.
and what you're doing are just not mixing. But yeah, 100%. We're very focused on like doing what we say. And so
I want to ask you about that, because you and I talked a little bit about it, and I think I have, you know, like one idea as to a piece that might contribute to that, right? Like building stuff is hard, especially from scratch, and especially if you're looking to start something fresh in a new industry like Web3. And there's a really solid chance that it doesn't work, that it's not successful. And there's this unfortunate truth that is the case with most products in crypto, that they come with a token, which is a real heavy anchor to tie on something that no one knows if it's going to work or not, or find product market fit, or be appealing, or get users or whatever. And so I kind of get the aversion to just like mass launch apps, but you guys are really pushing to just launch with volume is kind of the vibe I'm getting. So have you guys encountered that like hesitation to attempt things, knowing that the vast majority of apps that get, you know, built and pushed out there are ultimately not going to be hugely successful?
Yes and no. I think for us, the importance lies on like building a land of opportunity function, right? Where it's like, you know, we're very explicitly clear to the, 300 plus teams that are coming to build with us. Like I tell this to people in calls.
That's a big number.
Like, I'll be like, look, I'm not going to guarantee your success.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guarantee that you have a distribution funnel. I'll get you a distribution funnel. But if you can't like take advantage of that and you can't like actually operate within that distribution funnel, then like, you know, that's kind of on you. And, you know, for the most part, like the volume that we're pushing is mostly because we know that the success for us is like somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 25 breakout apps are like what makes or breaks an app store or distribution model. And so we know that that's really all we have to focus on, right? We just have to focus on hitting this like maybe even 15, like you can even go lower, 15 to 25 in that range of products that people like actually end up using at scale. At scale is like kind of a up for interpretation idea, because let's be honest, like there's no like pure definition of what that actually is.
Yeah.
That can be
a billion users.
It could be 100,000 users. It could be a billion users. It could be 5 million users. You know, each individual product has its own kind of metrics for what it considers scale and like success. But I think like for us, and what's mostly interesting about the approach is that we're willing to take a shot on a lot of teams that other people normally wouldn't. And we're not necessarily bringing in some of the teams that other people would. And I think that that approach will either be the thing that makes us or the thing that breaks us. I think it's going to be the thing that makes us. I think it's very interesting when you bring in a bunch of teams who are very hungry and have been told no, and then you give them a playground and you go, do it. And to like that to me is like the most exciting thing.
You've got Rally. I know you're talking about a streaming platform that I'd really like to hear more about.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what you're betting on, what other kind of verticals, what kind of teams you're backing, and how you're thinking about communicating that to different audiences. Like, I don't know if you're talking to somebody who's a retiree who, you know, wants to learn about Web3 and like make money, or if you're talking about kids who are gaming or what.
Yeah. So there's two aspects. I'll start with the verticals that we're like interested in. We are interested in gaming. We are interested in sports betting and prediction markets. We're interested in like digital collectibles, I think, as a vertical.
As a medium, yeah.
Yeah, and this can be something like we've seen recently, this interest in like the digital card packs function.
Yeah.
That to us is like kind of cool. I'm trying to think if there's another. I mean, that's kind of the main gist of like where we've seen, or we think that like a lot of people will like actually be interested. Outside of that, like I don't know. I think there's maybe some other areas where people are like, I wish this would be a thing, but I don't think it will be. Like I think in the DeFi sectors, like I don't think DeFi is ever gonna like really be that flashy or exciting to the normal person. I think like maybe you have the thing where someone comes in off of like gaming and maybe they get interested in trying some form of DeFi, like lending or leveraging. But it's also like a more complex thing. And like to me, it's like the version of like, I think someone's going to go put $100 in a Robinhood before they ever put $100 into like a more complex platform and try and short the market.
Well, a really interesting trend right now, though, is making that kind of thing simpler, like the consumer, improving the consumer experience with, you know, AI agents, with done for you, simplified username and password platforms. And I think it's interesting because I would say the two killer use cases for crypto right now are stablecoins and DeFi in terms of like proof in the pudding users. And you guys, it sounds like, are really hedging your bets on everything else, like and a lot of stuff that hasn't been seen in ways that are blockchain native. We try to emphasize for people on the show, like the difference between a company that's doing something cool with a buzzword, has raised a bunch of money, has a killer team, but is building a product in search of a solution, versus somebody who's like, the analogy I always use is Henry Ford was standing at a horse track thinking about highways and hospitals and grocery stores and all that would happen to change the world afterward when the assembly line was here. And I think those are the companies that I'm most excited about, like investing my attention in, because I want to understand like what the future seems to look like and be part of it.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me, like, because we are taking bets on some of those like buzzword things, you know, but in a different way. Like we're not taking a bet on AI, but we're gonna let AI have a playground. In the hopes that something comes out of that we would take a bet on.
Yeah,
like,
that makes
sense. I don't
sense.
think existing AI beta in crypto is like that interesting. It's very just like, okay, it's stuff we've seen forever. Like I see people getting excited about like chatbots, and I'm like, I was using chatbots in middle school. Like that's
I remember
not
Smarter
new,
Child.
right? Yeah, like these are not new things. Like, you know, AI as a tech has been in video games for as long as all of us know. You know, these are not new concepts. These are things that we're very aware of. It's just this this implementation of it. Now it's financialized, and there's like a betting angle and a gambling angle, and I think people like that. But I think there's like, I think things like Wayfinder, like I think Wayfinder is a really fucking cool
For
product.
people who don't know what that is, can you tell us?
Yeah, so Wayfinder is built by the Parallel team. In essence, it's a trading protocol that is an AI that can operate across chains. So you can say that you have, you know, $100 in this chain, and you would like to send it to this chain, but convert it to wrapped Bitcoin. So you have ETH over here, and you want wrapped Bitcoin over here, and you can tell the bot, and it will make those trades for you. I think that's really cool. And I think like implementation like that is awesome, versus just like, oh, this Twitter bot replies to you.
Yeah, totally novel stuff.
But
so
I will say though, at the same time, like the indexing of information that leads to a really, really good chatbot, that's cool. But that's only on that back end of like indexing information, processing information, and then being able to produce it in a format that doesn't sound like an AI wrote it.
So can you tell us about the streaming platform? Has this been released yet? I've only seen teasers about it.
No. The streaming platform goes live day one of the chain.
And that is for people who are not hip to it?
Not released. It's this month.
It's this week, but no firm date.
This month, yeah.
Okay, you're just gonna drop it on us.
Yeah, we've stated that it's happening in January.
And what can people expect to do there? Like, what's the consumer experience going to be like?
It's going to be a lot. There's going to be 125 apps and products. There's going to be about 500 streamers. Quite a bit happening, I would say.
How do we get the beta is what I want to know. I'm looking for alternatives to TikTok, man. Oh, it's just going.
Beta.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it's just going. Yeah.
Oh man, well, I'm looking forward to learning more, and I would love to sign up to play around with it and give feedback.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah. Me and Alex had a nice little soft dive into the platform.
I got to see a little
sneak
poke
peek.
around.
Yeah, he had teased that, and I was curious, Alex. What did you see? Are you gonna spill the beans?
Well, I do want to talk about it because I'm
What part?
I'm excited about a couple specific things. Like the first thing I notice whenever I look at a website, and Evan and I, we do, like first impressions on projects and sites and stuff like that all the time. And I always look for simplicity, because nothing turns me off of a new spot faster than like too many things catching my eye at once, too many things that I'm supposed to like want to click on. That makes me want to just go away. And I liked the dashboard setup. It was super clean. Like Evan, if we talk about looking at Aave for the, right now, as you go to their platform right now. And even once you click into the app, like it's just a clean cut. I mean, it's no wonder they're as big as they are, right? Yeah. So that was my first impression, was just like, this looks really clean. I feel like I can easily poke around and look for something to do, some kind of app. And I wanted to back up just a tiny bit, Finn, because you mentioned something that I had actually written down in a note to talk to you about tonight, which was the idea of scale for consumer products when you have this giant library of things. Just being that, I think it's a massive disservice in crypto that like everything has to have a billion users, and if it doesn't, it is an inherent failure. And there are so many apps that like have diehard fan bases that make revenue that are sustainable and profitable, and have their small team and are widely considered to be good and successful, and they have 100,000 people that love it, if even that many. Have you guys hit that, found that? Have you talked about it with teams coming to build? Because I feel like I never hear that conversation from anyone trying to like build a thing in Web3 that like,
what the minimum threshold is.
Yeah, or just the idea that like, hey, what does success look like to you? And it's like, well, we just want to be able to be used by whoever wants to use it. And if that's 10,000 people that have a killer time, we'll be able to keep going and sustain and keep the lights on. And that would be a big deal for us. Yeah,
we have the conversation with a variety of teams. I wouldn't say everyone, every conversation with team is different, right? Some teams have different priorities. Some teams their priority is like TVL based, right? Like they want dollar volume and they need dollar volume. And so user number doesn't matter because user count doesn't do anything. Other teams are looking to raise money, and so they need, user number, because user number speaks to investors. So there's kind of a variety. I mean, definitely on the like more NFT token side of things, I would say those teams are, obviously have a minimum threshold. Their metric is like selling out or hitting X market cap. For some of the other teams, we have teams who know that like at 50,000 monthly users, they can sustain themselves. We have other teams who, can't sustain 50,000 users because their server costs would be too high. Sure. So, across the board, I think we have like a whole variety of things, and it's really like comes down to like each individual team, and the teams that know and are good are focused on it, and the teams that may not make it are the teams who aren't thinking about it. And we do our best to step in and offer like input and feedback when we can, but we're also super comfortable with like letting things run, letting things happen. And, we can't make a team succeed. We can't, force teams to be successful. We can just kind of do as much as we can to like nudge them in that direction of like, hey, if you get to X amount of users, you guys would be, net positive. How do we get you there? That kind of thing.
On that note, hello. Sorry, I was just going to welcome Will. To say, Will, we're so glad you're here.
There he is.
I'm going to give you a point for joining the show. I'm going to give you a gwump for joining the show late, and then I'm going to give you another point for being a good friend, because I know you were helping somebody out tonight. And also, I'm going to give points to all of us because we were early.
We love points.
We love points. Everybody's doing good.
Love points.
Yeah, Will is a points meister. I think you won last week, right, Will?
I did. I usually win.
Well,
I have a lot of catching up to do.
That's okay. We've been having a really good conversation. Finn's told him, Phin, tonight when I was saying Phin and Abril, I kept saying Phil, making a portmanteau.
Everyone does. I get emails still.
It's terrible though.
DMs,
Phin Totten of Abstract is our guest tonight. If you're just joining us, play along at abs.xyz. We're talking about what it really means to onboard consumers to crypto and what those experiences look like from Abstract's perspective. Alex, I rugged you. So sorry about it. Let me know what you're thinking.
Anyway, I'm going to rug you again. Phin, nice to meet you, dude.
God damn.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just rugging tonight.
Yeah, we're just rugging left and right.
Let's get it all out of our
Anyway,
system.
also, Finn, let me tell you about my Pokemon cards. No, sorry.
He did talk a little about cards, but we waited.
I want to talk about Pokemon.
We were waiting for you to talk about the cards.
Sorry,
Still
guys. I've had a few
times.
beers already. Oh,
He
shit.
lives on my computer. I have the rest of them up there, but there is a very clear winner for me, and he stays on top of my computer.
Dude, he had that
I
thing
knew
ready.
I was going to like you because Bulbasaur is also my starter.
Yes.
You guys would be Bulbasaur people.
Everyone chooses.
Grass
the
types, baby.
same- Yeah, but
Grass
there's
types.
There's something about Venusaur that just does it that you will never
man.
find.
When I beat
Agreed.
Brock and Misty with a Charmander and a Charmeleon, I was like on top of the world.
But
You
that's so
can't-
like that's just like of course everyone wants Charizard.
Charmander
No one
in
wants
Pallet
Rhyhorn.
Town is the easiest. It's the easiest because you're just fighting
Man.
Caterpies and Pidgeys left and right.
It's a man after my own heart.
All right.
What is
Also,
happening?
stat-wise, we're talking pure stats.
Yep.
Bulbasaur up to Venusaur, best
Mhm.
all-around stats.
I would question that.
I give
No,
the credit.
no, you can look it up.
You can look it up. It is true. I will give the credit. I do think Blastoise
Fact check yourself, brother.
looks cool. Maybe looks the coolest. Blastoise is cool, but purely useless. Will never be in my rotation. Will never be in my lineup.
Okay, we got it out of our system for a minute. We'll talk
Respect
about cards and
all of
collectibles
this,
again
man.
in a minute. Alex,
There we go.
where were you going to take us? Save me from myself.
Well, I was just going to say, actually, Will, your timing was perfect because one of the things we touched on earlier that I wanted to come back to just because I kind of disagree, but I think that a new direction is warranted. So as we're talking about, apps that could onboard people, I totally get it that like the DeFi landscape right now is intimidating. That's kind of one of my personal like little side quests is demystifying DeFi for people who want to like get lightly involved. And okay, like what's the piece that we can understand that we'll start with? Okay, the idea of earning interest on an asset that you have. Let's just start there.
Okay.
I could totally see a world in which a group like Aave launched a mobile-only app that was like similar in vibe to the Robinhood, Webull, eToro type of thing, where the whole point was exclusively to supply assets for loan collateral and just pays you interest for like keeping stuff there. Like all you're going to do there is bring your ETH or your USDC and loan it out and earn, and you could either go in there and do one of two things. You could like take out a loan or you could supply exactly like their dashboard, but just like so, streamlined. I could totally see that being widely accepted by a huge number of people because it would be not that complicated to wrap your head around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a tale as old as time, right?
Yeah. Take something that delivers a lot of value and put it in an easily accessible format that the people want.
Right. That's kind
Bada
of
boom, bada bing.
And I mean, the branding between like how clean.
Oh, it's a dog thing.
It's a dog,
Always a dog thing.
his army
Always.
of dogs.
Yeah, it's always a dog thing. That just sounded like all 6 of them falling down the stairs at the same time.
I started to hear it, and then it just vanished.
And then it went
from there.
away.
I was like, oh, it's kind of.
Yeah, no, all I'm saying is like from what I've seen, just because I'm going to keep teasing Misty about this, from what I saw on the dashboard, I could totally see something with like that clean cut. I mean, the green is like so aesthetically pleasing. I'm just imagining like green meets purple, great color combination.
Oh, beautiful.
Like that would be a super cool, like consumer focused DeFi app that doesn't have to be as complicated as like, plus, I mean, we have Dex examples, right? Like Phantom, I think does a pretty good job of
so easy to
integrating,
use.
swapping.
You know what's crazy? I actually just checked. We've got, I think, three purple DeFi apps.
Oh,
I don't know if they're
Really?
very normie focused. They're a little more intense, but they're there.
So I don't know. That's just the first place my head went. Like I hear it, and I just think that's a thing that we could totally tackle. And I feel like given what I've seen about Abstract so far, I would totally put that on the menu for you guys.
That's a heavy competitive space, man. A lot of people are trying to crack
is.
that nut. And well,
A lot
you
of people
mentioned,
are, but like, the only one I think that kind of gets close is prediction markets. Like, I think prediction markets to me are like, a consumer-friendly DeFi in some way.
It's just so big. I mean, the DeFi
huge.
space is humongous. Just cut off one thing and make an app that does the one thing.
I know, there are too many products that are like, oh, they're all kind of like integrated and interconnected, and they're doing lending and leveraging, and it's just, you could focus on one. And we do have a few projects that are interesting, that are doing more basic stuff, but
so can I ask you to drill down into that? Because I'm curious what you think the consumer crypto marketing playbook looks like. It's obviously different for different kinds of products, but there's probably like a general, Coinbase level broad marketing that you do. And I would love for you to maybe name some specific products or approaches for newcomers. A lot of people in our audience are at all levels of experience. Some of them have never bought crypto. Some of them are like level 1 crypto users. Some of them work here like us. So can you explain what that approach is and then recommend those products that people check out?
Yeah. Okay. So the broad scheme approach, there's a few areas that we're going to be looking into. So the distribution funnel that we've built is like a two-way distribution funnel. Apps are looking for distribution to users. Creators are looking for distribution to products to highlight, right? To content to that degree, and they're looking for users. We, through Pudgy and Igloo, have a vast connection network to creators. The idea for us is that the distribution happens extensively on content awareness. We could go spend a few $100,000s on billboards. They probably won't reach the initial market that really is going to work for us. The initial market that's really going to work for us, that we think is going to be kind of the first hit, is like 16 to 25-year-old guys who have a little bit of side cash, who would already go and sports bet, or would already go and like be willing to like go to a casino with their buddies and have fun, who are already kind of sort of interested in that casual experience with soft gambling, we would call it. The idea where you're interested in kind of playing with money in a way where you aren't looking for an ROI that's positive, right? You're expecting to kind of lose most of what you put in. You're just having fun. What we call is like discretionary spending. So, we know that that's an area. And then the second kind of area that we think of is gamers, right? Content creators. I've always kind of stuck behind thinking that no matter what, there will always be an interest and angle for crypto products to like succeed in gaming. I think we just haven't got to the point that games are really like finished enough for gamers to play and be like, oh yeah, I could play this for a long time. I think we're getting there. I think we're a lot better than we used to be. So for us, it's like, how do we make content that those people see? Like, right? How do we make this content that people kind of see and gets them interested? And we know that if we win over these first two kind of types of demographics, those demographics expand as they tell their friends, right? If they come in and they make a prediction on something that's really cool, or like, they come into Myriad, which is one of our prediction markets, our like premier prediction market, and they see that they could like make a bet on like when Diddy, like how long is Diddy gonna get sentenced for, right? They see that, and in their mind they're like, that's hilarious, right? Like that's funny, and they're gonna tell their friends about it. They're like, yo, I just bet $50 that Diddy gets 100 years, and their friend's gonna be like, how, where, why? And the problem is, in a traditional sense, if that was on Polymarket, you would then have to explain to that person how to either create a Coinbase account and fund it, create a MetaMask, fund it via maybe MoonPay if they're in an area where it's approved, or
might have to use a VPN.
Might have to use a VPN, find a way to do this, whatever, fund it into there, then convert to USDC on Polygon, and then send it in. And
a lot of steps,
right? All of the you're like tons of steps.
Yeah.
On Abstract, their friend sends them a link to Myriad. They input an email, enter a code, fund from MoonPay or fund from an Apple card. You can do Apple Pay.
Nice.
And they can place their first bet within. We've tested it like less than 5 minutes from sign up to first bet placed. You can't get that anywhere else.
That's a little nicer. It's a little bit of a better experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly is.
Part of that is like gasless too, if needed.
Okay, so that's Myriad.
Well, what do you mean by if needed?
It's up to the product. The product can choose. So we use our wallet offers these two very, very cool tools called Paymaster and Session Keys. Paymaster is gas sponsoring. So something that teams can do is like for the first interaction on a new wallet for every user, it's like a free transaction. Like they can sponsor the gas fee for that first transaction. Mind you, gas fees on Abstract are in the pennies. These are
low.
Base level. ZK Sync is the tech stack for anyone who's nerdy enough and cares about that stuff. But yes, it's nominal gas fees, but teams can choose to sponsor those gas fees for certain situations.
And is Abstract doing grants for that kind of thing? Grants for development?
Not directly, no.
Not directly.
We have some deal structure with teams, and we have investment structure that we can do for teams.
Sure.
But no, we don't do gas grants or anything like that. That's something that we kind of loop into, that's infrastructure costs for a company. Amazon doesn't have AWS grants.
Right. So you mentioned Myriad.
Yeah.
You mentioned Myriad as a product, and I would like to hear some others, but I want to address the question of that 16 to 25 demographic, especially for you may not see yourselves as a Web3 company in the sense that you're doing DeFi, that kind of thing. I get that. But it seems like your audience now is hotly, and the places where you are now, Pudgy Penguins is a global brand. I get that,
totally.
But it seems like that's a pretty hotly contested audience in terms of their attention for a product like this.
Yes.
And I'm just curious if you have thoughts or comments on that.
Oh, of course it is. It's highly competitive. But I think what we are interested in is, without giving all of the sauce, the model that we're going to go with leverages, I think, a significant amount of Web 2 experience from our team that no other team has. I mean, collectively, we've all been part of Web 2 companies that have generated millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue through mostly viral social media marketing. It's our bread and butter as a team. We know this in and out. We know how to speak the language on every platform. We know how to, how to spread awareness for what we're doing. And in the same way, it's in the same reason the Solana meme coin trend just kind of took off, right?
Yeah.
That was a content-based explosion. That was a TikTok content-based explosion. And it's pretty easy, right? You see streamers clipping where they make $1,000 to $5,000 in a stream. You post that, people go, oh, I'm curious. I want to learn about this. I want to explore. They start digging in. They find content creators. It expands from there. You grow and you grow and you grow. For us, what we want to do is that when that happens, there's an immediate inflow of people coming, and then they're met with creators who are crypto native. Versus, I think for a long time, the TikTok only crypto content crowd and crypto Twitter and native deep in the trenches, deep into everyday crypto, there was a very interesting split in those types of creators. I think we saw a lot of TradFi creators who would have some crypto content here and there who then got popular because of meme coins. But were they the best choice of person for people to hear from? I don't think so, right? I don't think that was the right person for people to hear from. The guy who makes $1,000 a day, $5,000 a day leverage trading, who throws money into random Solana coins and pumps them because his audience wants to see the number go up.
Or who's just showing you a chart on screen and telling you to buy it.
Yes, right.
So bump it up.
Exactly.
Bump it
right.
up.
That's what we saw. And so
bump it up.
On our end, we're thinking, if we were able to create a platform where all of the biggest names in crypto that we know and we talk to on a regular basis are producing content, that when something like that happens and the users come in to check it out, they're met with those people instead. What does that look like in terms of retention and longevity?
But are those people interesting to them? I'm thinking of, I don't know, Thread Guy or something like that. Not to say he's not a great creator, but I'm thinking if I'm a non-crypto person and you're going for the Web 2 experience and I get in the app and everyone's like, hey, you want to learn what a wallet is? I'd be like, bro, or they're a, I get that your demographic is 16 to 20.
Right?
Okay.
That's where we think about it that way. That's where we abstract this away, is that when they sign up for the platform, they immediately have access to a wallet that functionally doesn't confuse them. So when you log into the platform, every interaction you make is on chain. When you trade tokens in the platform, when you send tips to a creator, it's all done on chain. But there's no transactions, there's no fees, there's no signatures, there's no having to understand a crypto
It's
wallet
abstracted.
or anything. It's all abstracted away. So it's just you log in with your email, you fund your account, and you're immediately participating in kind of these products and apps. So we get to break the funnel. We break, like, because we all have that, right? We have this like funnel that we think exists, and we always have the contention point at the wallet. That's always been the contention point, is that to get someone from point A to point C, there's point B. Point B is a wallet, and it is this like immovable, impassable bridge. That
This new scary thing that turns people away.
Yep. Turns so many people away, and they don't get it. They don't understand it. And the reality is within crypto, we got complacent with broken tech and broken systems because it's just the way things were. And wallets have always been this biggest contention point of like, there's something about this that doesn't need to exist. And if we want to be like realistic about this, and I love getting into the realism of this, is that the reason we loved it is because it was a friction point so that people who were less experienced met this friction point and were easy exit liquidity. And that's always how it was. It was always because someone was going to come in and meet this very complicated piece of tech, which was the core, like, necessary requirement for being good in crypto. And it was flawed. And it caused this, like, years and years of people going, like, I don't understand what I'm doing. I connected my wallet to the website and lost my money. And it's like, well, of course you did. It wasn't designed to make it clear what you were doing. It wasn't designed to make it clear to a regular person. It was making it, and it was designed for someone like me to use, who is willing to spend hours and hours a day in this space and trying all of the wallets and trying all of these things. It was designed for a person like me. The Abstract Global Wallet is designed for a person not like me. And I think that alone is a really important, critical nature of what we're doing, is that it is designed for you to tell someone, hey, you should check out this app. And when they go to log in, they click log in with Google, and then they just like scroll down, they click on the app, they log in with Google, and they're trading.
Yeah. Boy, I don't know about you guys, but I am excited to hear about some of the collectibles, because I know we touched on it earlier. We're waiting for you, Will, but
I do love collectibles. But I just want to make one other comment too, because I've been talking about for a while now how 2025 was going to be the year where it's like every project that does well, you're going to, I mean, not every single one, but there's going to be a huge trend of projects that remove barriers to entry for people. And the big signal to me when I saw that was when Coinbase was first talking about, before they even released, it was their smart wallet.
Yeah.
And all the things the smart wallet could do. And I was like, oh, this is a trendsetter. And the pitch for so many organizations moving forward is going to be how we bridge that gap between people who can use Web3 and the knowledge that you need, and people who can use the internet today. You have to bleed Web3 into the Web2 experience and make it fit that way. And any project that doesn't address that, is not tackling that, is not going to have legs moving forward and isn't going to have a shot in hell at being a project that survives the bear market whenever it eventually officially comes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to hear that you guys really are focusing on that hard, because it tells me there's like, oh, longevity. That's great.
Would you say too, one of the things that, because Will, I agree with you, and that's what I thought when the smart wallet was first being marketed. Maybe it's a hot take. Don't get me wrong, it's good and it works, and I'm personally fine with it. I don't think that it hit that though. I kind of
am with you.
No.
I always think about it this way, right? Like the number of conversations I've seen where like something in crypto is trying to tell me that like, hey, we're going to build the super app. I even saw that in multiple predictions for 2025 that we're finally going to get the super app. And I'm talking about the prediction sheets from Van Eck, from Masari, like it was listed in these things. And I'm always sitting here reading this saying like, who the hell gives a shit? I don't care about the super app, because all that means to me is that it's going to be confusing and overwhelming and there's way too much shit. That as a concept doesn't exist elsewhere.
Yeah.
And the smart wallet immediately, like on-chain summer, it was cool. I loved all the initiatives, but putting all of it into one dashboard in the thing that was supposed to onboard your mom really didn't hit for me, because it was just like so much stuff.
Well, that's
right
the
there.
thing is the Coinbase wallet, the Coinbase smart wallet has become just like too wide.
Yeah,
right? If you will, it's too broad.
To
the point
but
where
it's
it's
also like it's the problem that all these other products had is that they were like, Coinbase was like, we have a wallet, we have a centralized exchange, and we have an NFT marketplace. and they're 3 different products in 3 different places with 3 different use cases, and they don't all interact nicely.
And they have the same damn name.
Same name. That to me has always been this like crazy thing. It's like, why do you build these like individual platforms that don't like interconnect? Like, you're just building 3 different products and they're all named different things, and I have to log in different ways. Like, of course you're gonna fail. Like Amazon won because you just go to Amazon.com.
That's it.
You didn't. Like, That's it. You don't go to Amazon.com and then you go to like AmazonBooks.com and AmazonMovies.com. You just go to Amazon, and within Amazon is all the things you need. Single login for the whole thing, like the whole experience. Yeah, I don't know. It just gets me so like, I get so frustrated when I see these teams do this, and I'm like, and then I come to look at what we're doing, and I'm like, no, the idea is like you log in once, and everything is there.
Everything's there.
Everything's.
And the other thing too, with Amazon as the example, like I've worked in corporate America for, oh God, how long has it been? Oh God, it's almost been a decade. It'll be a decade in a couple months.
Business over here.
And I work in with a bunch of IT
business.
groups and all that kind of stuff. Business, numbers. Spreadsheets. Yeah, you business too, I see. I didn't know. I was here with a fellow businessman. Those are my suspenders. But what I was saying is another huge piece of Amazon's business is Amazon Web Services, right?
Yes.
But the thing is, it's like if you're in IT and you just want to spin up some more servers for XYZ project or whatever, the buying process for that is exactly the same as if you wanted to go on Amazon and buy, I don't know, some AA batteries or some Windex for your home. It's the exact same interface, exact same kind of experience. It's exactly the same. To do this different, very differently labeled part of the website, but the same exact super easy buying process that's not cluttered in any way, shape, or form. And Coinbase has currently missed that mark. But just another thing I wanted to provide an example. After you mentioned, they have their marketplace and they have their Web3 base environment, and they have their centralized exchange. And even in the centralized exchange, you have the regular centralized exchange. You have
Coinbase Advanced,
and then
Coinbase One.
And then you have the futures.
But then also Plus, but also
multi-month subscriber.
It's awful.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Bearish on one name.
Just give me the name. Just name it. Give me something.
I mean, just imagine if Coinbase just had one platform and it was all interconnected. It's like,
why? I always had that.
Multi-billion-dollar company, by the way.
Yeah.
And they have to have all of these, like $750 million in loss reported for their NFT marketplace.
I'll never.
We have a lot
forget
of
the
loss
very
leaders.
First time I had that conversation with someone, it was me doing what I thought was like giving an innocuous tip. Was like, hey, by the way, just trade on Coinbase Advanced because the fees are cheaper. And they're like, why? And I'm just like, duh.
There's no good reason. You're sitting there, you're like, I don't know.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, they made it purposely complicated and charge you less money for it to keep you away from it.
Can we talk a little about we had a great question for like, I'm a beginner, what can I do to learn? And I would love everyone to go around and give their takes on like, generally, if you're new to the world of crypto, maybe where you guys think folks can start. We love doing that. And then Phin, especially, I'd love for you to kind of maybe finish us out and also add to your answer, say at abstract, like, here's where I would recommend, you start checking things out and get started. I would say for my money, since we're talking about Coinbase, coinbase.com/learn is a great website that has really helpful educational resources. Many exchanges do. Kraken's got good ones that sort of anticipate the questions people ask a lot and lay it out in what I feel is a user-friendly way. I think that's probably their best product is coinbase.com/learn. You can check it out on your toilet time. Like it's a 5 minutes a day kind of thing. And I will pitch the community to say, you don't have to join ours, but one of the most helpful things in crypto is to have a group chat or some kind of forum with other people who are learners at all levels of experience like you, but especially people who've been here a while and not people who are like trying to sell you something. There are a lot of people who want to give you their knowledge for a fee, but like if you have friends, that you've met here or online or at a conference, connect with those people. Because there are a lot of things in crypto that you just kind of accumulate through practice and wisdom. And it's easy for them to spot a scam or give a second take or share a tool that can help you just avoid losing time and money. And our community is discord.gg/riseup. We're on all platforms. The only thing that's missing really, truly is you. We would love to see you there. You don't have to pay a thing to come hang out and learn with us. What about you guys? Alex, what's your pick? I rugged you, I think, on Coinbase.
Well, it's okay. I'm
You
gonna
rugged
rug
me
the
on
whole
Coinbase
group.
too. Actually, I was gonna.
Damn.
put out
Okay.
That, like Coinbase Learn. It may be the most successful part of Coinbase is just that their education guides are like genuinely some of the best out there.
They're killer.
But it's all because of the simplicity, and I just wish that would infect the rest of the platform. I mean,
You'd think they're like functioning, like they understand the step-by-step there,
Yes.
and then
Yeah.
everywhere else they don't understand the step-by-step. It's crazy. I don't know.
No,
Baffling.
especially because I've been screaming into the void for years that Coinbase's Learn and Earn program was one of the coolest things in the entire industry. And I think that they just missed an unbelievable opportunity to run that through the bear market, but they pretty much shut it off. It pretty much came offline. I was actually, I will give an honorable mention just to say, and then actually just in the interest of time, because Finn, I know that you have a bit of a stop coming up. I have been pleasantly surprised with Kraken doing like kind of their entrance into the Learn space. So I was basically today years old when I realized that Kraken has its own dedicated wallet, separate app, and it's quite good.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly, I would say, better than Coinbase's wallet by a not super slim margin. And Kraken's Learn program, which is the same thing, kraken.com/learn, also not sponsored by them, but we should be, has very similarly.
I love it. I love it.
Got to work out here, brother.
Yeah, you gotta land it.
You never know who's watching.
It's true. It's true.
But that's a good one too. And I mean, my favorite, my go-to, also in the subject, not sponsored but should be, the important metrics. It's so worth it to sit down and do like an afternoon of homework to figure out DeFi Llama. It's so goddamn good. It's not even funny.
Yeah, and it's free.
It's
Will,
free.
can we rug you? Because Finn's got to go in like 4 minutes, and I would love, Finn, if you're well met on resources, maybe you can tell us how to get involved in Abstract, and especially for Will and Alex, the collectibles.
I'm gonna pull up the wait list while you do that, Finn, because I know that you guys.
Yes, I was gonna say. So the first step of the that you can do right now is going to abs.xyz and signing up for the.
Coming right here we go.
And sorry, I just seen a TikTok comment that was funny. You guys are great advertisement. The 3 most handsome men on TikTok.
Hey, baby.
Thanks, Exit
I love
Liquidity.
that.
A point for exit liquidity. Thank you very much.
But yeah, so joining the waitlist, step 1, it just gets you kind of prepped and ready for when mainnet drops. Making sure you follow our social media accounts. So that's abstract chain and abstract_eco. The ecosystem account is where we kind of highlight projects coming to Abstract. Again, we have about 250 of them. There's quite a lot. There's a lot to dig into, a lot of things to try across the board, whether you're interested in DeFi, interested in NFTs, interested in gaming. If you're a degenerate trench coin trader and that's where you want to go, we'll have that for you. We really have everything across the board, and all coming from teams who are very excited to kind of lead the charge and be part of this kind of what we think of as this revolution into consumer crypto. And yeah, I mean, my God, the collectibles side, there's a lot. We have like 25 NFT projects on day 1, I think, something like that. We've got, Final Bosu, which is a really, really cool anime project. We've got Kabu, which are these adorable little teddy bears, which has a ton of IP built out behind it. They've got a whole animated cartoon series and physical products. And if you're an enthusiast that way, we have Canna Sapiens, which is a very interesting project focused around, I'm sure, what you can imagine. We have a ton of really just like a ton of these awesome projects. We have Hot Dogs, which are kind of these fun little pixelated.
Hell yeah,
dogs.
you got me now.
Yeah.
Abstract
bullish.
hot dogs are like
I'm in on hot dogs.
Super bullish. Just off them alone, they're like one of those things where like I will never tell someone to buy abstract hot dogs because I do think they go to zero. I think that's just innately the function of these NFTs. But god damn it, they are so cute and so fun, and they're just little 8-bit animated hot dogs, and they're all these little dachshunds, and they wear different outfits. And
oddly enough, this would not be the first NFT that I bought that was hot dog based.
We're definitely going to go out and buy these. And tomorrow I'll open the show with Will, show me your wiener.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
man.
man.
God, there we go. That's what we'll have to do. It'll be a show me your wiener function.
I got to go on myself for that. That was
also-
terrible.
Yeah.
I like that you found
that's
that
okay.
Gwomp sound so quickly.
Yeah, perfect.
Just shout out to Harley in the Discord for providing that. It was really killer.
But yeah, I think that is would be my kind of closing remarks. If you're interested, follow along, pay attention. The chain goes live this month, and you'll be able to get access to the platform, and there'll be content creators, about 500 content creators streaming, and we're gonna have quite a good time, I think.
Awesome.
And Finn, where's the best place for people to stay in touch with you?
Oh, Phin_Totten on Twitter.
On Twitter and Cars by Phin here, apparently.
I mean, I wouldn't follow my TikTok unless you like car stuff. I don't. There's no crypto on TikTok. I did. Funny enough, I saw one of my Web2 friends pop in the chat, and he said hi.
Well, leave Finn some penguins in the chat.
He knows what I do.
Some cars in the chat, some penguins in the chat, and find him on Twitter, Phin_Totten. You said, because I'll write that down. Okay, great. We'll have that for you, man. Thank you so much, Alex. I rugged you. You were going to say bye.
I was just going to say, Finn, I really appreciate you making the time to come hang out with us today. I'm excited to watch more. I think, like I was sharing with you, there's nothing on earth that says that, launching with a suite of apps is going to ultimately lead to success. But the one thing that I am so jazzed for is that there's a thing that I think can keep attention, which is this platform. I mean, not that I'm biased, not that I'm a streamer or anything.
Yeah.
But just a place, I mean, we talked about this, a place that is social based where people can hang out and chill and be excited and just be a community in the downtime between this app kind of bit the dust, but hey, this one coming looks really cool. Or here's this completely unrelated thing that we're all going to have in common and we get to do it on a place like Abstract and be Web3. That's the part that made me really want to get you on the show. Cause I'm like, dude, I don't know why more people aren't building things with that idea in mind. And it's pretty much just you and the Bettners right now that is thinking about it that way. Which go figure.
And one of they were my bosses, so
very cool. Well, thank you again for joining us, brother. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, have a great one. We'll talk soon. I'm gonna jump, go grab some food.
Nice meeting you, dude.
And I'm back into more calls. So we'll talk soon, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Phin_Totten. Drop a penguin or a hot dog in the chat. I think is the most fun way to celebrate that. What a guest.
Definitely a hot dog.
Definitely a hot dog. I am bullish on those Abstract hot dogs. I got to tell you.
Dude, if more people
I'll be checking them out.
Collectible stuff like that, where it's dude, who gives a shit what these things are worth? It's whatever. That's how NFTs should have been, and then the premiums and premiums and premiums.
Oh,
and
we're all too greedy for that. We can't have good things. You know it.
But I think that's how they come back, to be very honest with you. I think that's the only two ways that they come back. They're either hyper specific, it is access to a thing, or it's just I would like to collect XYZ because I think it's cool. And I just think
credentials. I think they come back, and I think they come back for the exact same reason.
I'm sure that will be there, but I'm talking big picture, over the next 20 years.
Yeah, well, big picture, yeah.
I'm
You'll have
bullish
some
on
business start using it, and it'll be in some sort of seamless way where it just happens in the background, and yada yada yada. Then businesses start erupting. But I think we're still 4 years away from that.
We are still early, which is why Ticketmaster, Taylor Swift, call me.
Dude, I mean, we say it every single year that we start the conference round. I'm about to have another year of going to Web3 conferences, and guess how many NFTs I'm going to end up with at the end of the year to signify my tickets, my passes, or anything like that to do.
Yeah, we don't even do it in our own industry.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. The fact that I've been to NFT NYC more than once and I have exactly 0 NFTs to represent that is laughable. Actually, that was Christina's first question when we were talking about it. The first time we went to NFT NYC, she's like, the ticket's not an NFT. It just makes it makes no sense.
That just makes you really bearish on the current technological capabilities of NFTs and the ability to disperse them to people in an efficient way.
That's it. I don't think that's it.
Because if it was easy, they would have done it.
I don't think that's it. I think most of the people who are hosting crypto conferences or who are in the crypto industry are grifting. It's not that they're lazy. I honestly think they don't know that those solutions exist. I have conversations regularly with people who are, no, I'm telling you, man, they don't. If you gave me the task, ticketify my conference, make it NFTs and make it easy, there are 3 apps I can think of off the top of my head that you could download to your phone, encourage your attendees to download and distribute the tokens. You could use them to verify. The hard part would be teaching your security guards and your intake staff to use it, onboarding those people. You'd need to have those auction companies that go around to nonprofits and they run everything for you. You need one of those for ticketing for NFTs. Like, I'm sure somebody is working on that nut, but people don't understand the value of it.
That's the part that doesn't make any sense, though, because like the first year we were at NFT NYC, every side event we went to required an NFT to get in. There was the Cool Man's Universe one, there was the Cool Cats one, there was the Goblin Town. Like, all of these had side events. You had to have the NFT to get in. You simply weren't doing it.
Goblin Town was wild.
The number of times I got like physically assaulted by a guy in a full body goblin costume was not zero.
Zero.
Misty says, I'm bullish on the changes in the industry that they're willing to take the risk on. That is for sure. I think so. Well, guys, we got out of the interview early. Do you want to kick around some question and answer? I don't know that we had any altcoin submissions, but we're glad to take your questions. If you're just joining us or you haven't seen us before or you've heard the commercial, I'll be brief. It's Rise Up After Dark. We let our hair down every Wednesday. Interview expert guests.
And I'm here and I'm liquored up. So come on.
Will is here and he's liquored up and we are ready to have a good time.
I'm giving for his seed phrase.
Yes.
Asking me for
Will, just tell us one of the words.
And if you don't give it to us, you're a loser.
You're a loser. But I don't even know how to sell this thing. I still watch that video that we made, and that part still makes me laugh every time.
Makes me laugh too.
No. I'll be like in my bed watching it, and like my feet will be curled up, and I'll give like a little foot kick, like ha 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 ha, like ah.
Our commenter J Pill, our friendly troll, was saying it was cringe to watch three guys masquerade as something, and I was like, that's exactly what we were going for.
That's exactly what we were doing.
100%.
And we had so much fun with that.
Yeah, it was killer.
I would like to ask the person who just said, why are we dumping again when Bitcoin is literally over $100,000? What are my brother in Christ? What are you talking about?
Why are we dumping today? Well, the answer to that question is, in the past 72 hours, Bitcoin went up 13%.
Yeah.
And now it's down 0.45%. So,
But like, it's literally $100,000. Like, what are...
Also, if you were in Morpho over the past 72 hours, it went up 42.3%. And on today's daily candle, since the top, it is down 8%. That is not a crash, guys. It's just a little baby breath. Good. It's just a little baby breath.
Hey, can we answer this quick question about how do I send my XRP from Coinbase to Trust or Exodus? This is one of the most common questions I get, certainly on my platform. And I don't know that maybe Will, I feel like you got a lot of level 1 users in your audience, but sending crypto is just like sending an email. And I would love to just quickly give you the steps, the process for that. If you've never used crypto before, I would say so. You have to get a receiving address. You have to get a receiving address.
So yes.
And then you paste it in and you enter the information you want to send. And then you hit confirm. You review the transaction and you send it. And it's
I suppose you have to account for
infrastructurally. It's not like sending an email because you're not actually moving information somewhere. The information stays on the blockchain. The ledger is just updating itself. But all you got to do is you create a Trust or Exodus wallet. They'll give you a seed phrase, which is like 12 or 24 words that you have to write down to restore your wallet, because these are self-custody wallets, which means that you are the only person who holds your key, which is like your password. And if you lose that, you're not going to be able to get back into the wallet. Nobody can recover it for you. It's a big responsibility, but it's good to learn. And it gives you a lot of privileges and rights that are really important to the crypto movement and just being a human in the world. So you open a Trust wallet, open an Exodus wallet, you back that seed phrase up, and then you search for the asset you want to receive, XRP. You tap it. It'll open up a menu that has like a QR code or maybe just the address. And usually there's a little copy button. You copy the address, go back to Coinbase or Kraken or crypto.com and pull up the asset there and choose send. Paste the address as the destination. Double check to make sure the network is the same. We can get into that another time. And then confirm the transaction. You'll review the details. You'll send it. With XRP specifically, you need to know that anytime you send to a new wallet, there's a protocol level requirement that new wallets are activated with a deposit of 10 XRP tokens. You're not going to get those back. You are not being cheated by Trust Wallet or by Exodus. That is a protocol level thing. Some wallets have abstracted it away. I don't know which ones off the top of my head. And you will pay a small gas fee. You should do a test transaction first. Send a very small amount. And if you have more questions, the best place for them is going to be the Rise Up Discord server. We have lots of people who walked through that. I've made videos on sending from Trust Wallet and answering that question about how do I make sure I'm sending crypto on the right network. Because if you try to open a JPEG file with Microsoft Word, it doesn't work. If you try to spend dollars at the Euro store, it doesn't work. And if you send crypto to a wallet from the wrong network on the wrong network, it doesn't work. It might be lost forever. So did I miss anything, guys? Forever. It will be lost forever. That's exactly right. How'd I do? What was my time?
No, that was really good. I would just say too, like the one part that I know can sound scary and intimidating is the network part. And there was a comment about, the network part is confusing. The one thing that should help a little bit is that pretty much I'm trying to think of the last time I saw one that did not have this. Now, if you put in a Solana address when you're supposed to be sending something to the Ethereum network, like if you're on Coinbase, you're trying to withdraw your ETH to your MetaMask and you accidentally put in your Solana address instead from Phantom or something like that, it won't even let you. It'll like read out the whole thing and be like, you have to enter a compatible Ethereum address. You could accidentally enter the wrong person's Ethereum address, so you still have to double check. But that's one of those things that is improving as more and more things have these, these classic handles.
Just don't F up the email, Pale Rider says. Yeah. And if that's something you need more help with, that's why we recommend the Rise Up Discord server. You can get help from us to do that kind of thing in the Rise Up Discord server. There are so many people, learners at all levels of experience. I've got a video in my TikTok profile right at the top with the step-by-steps, but the link is on the screen. It's discord.gg/riseup. And we also offer classes. We're about to do a fresh round of live classes. You can get a recorded class to teach you like the fundamentals of crypto for $15. Or if you want to go whole hog, you can book us for a coaching. I do see that Jay Pill is booked a coaching with you, Will. He says, I just scheduled for Friday. YOLO, full port, we be getting rich, pump it up song. But if all you need is help walking through sending a transaction, that's no problem. We've helped lots of people do that, and we certainly can help you too. So guys, did you see that the XRP SEC saga continues, that the SEC appealed
of course,
the ruling, and Gary Gensler continues to claw his way out of his office?
May it continue forever.
It's so hard to imagine that was not just like a, fuck you. Because like,
super,
the next chair, if I was the next chair, I would make such a big, that would be like my first post on Twitter. If I wanted to really swing in, it would just be like, and then drop the pieces in.
Nice dance.
Just light it on fire.
Yeah.
Like that. Think about that as the entrance tweet. Someone should tell him like, hey, listen, you want to get some brownie points. That's how you enter. Yeah.
So XRP is pumping right now, and I'm sure that's probably why.
Yeah, because it's a meme at this point. The SEC is a meme at this point. They're going so hard on this, and it's just like, God,
it's just like, God, just stop. Realize you took the L.
Go away. You know what sucks though? Like if you really think about it, the thing that pisses me off more than anything is there are legitimate things that they could be working on, and all this is doing is near irreparably tarnishing their ability to ever be taken seriously if they wanted to actually warn people against something actually important. You're just repeatedly, this all they're doing is just shooting themselves in the feet over and over.
Yeah,
and over
but
and over and over again.
for whatever reason, this SEC has just really decided that they really like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna gwump the SEC.
Ugh.
Dude, you should wake up every morning and just auto gwump the SEC.
Auto gwump the SEC. Perma auto gwump.
Just safe bet.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, put that on a t-shirt. If you've got crypto questions, if you want to see us take a look at something, let us know. We'll be here for a little bit longer. We're here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's kind of a slow Wednesday, it seems like. I'm so glad that you're spending to choose your time with us. If we can spice it up for you, we'll do just about anything short of selling you a meme coin that just launched. But, everything else is on the table. Will might show you his Pokemon cards.
And that could be an innuendo, but
could happen.
It's really just going to be
or my 8-bit wiener.
Oh my God. Thank you very much, everybody, for the
Well, I actually
gift
don't
support.
have a lot of cards.
Yeah, but you got some.
I don't have a lot of cards right now because I traded a lot of them in and sold a bunch when I was in Vegas at some of the stores. So the amount of cards I have right now is at like an all-time low.
All-time low, not an all-time high.
In an effort to steer this conversation away from 8-bit wieners, there was a question about Manta, which I actually don't know that we've ever hit on After Dark before. And then the other thing that I wanted to put on, but we can do Manta first, is did you guys see the Sonium drama?
Oh yeah, I forgot I wanted to talk about that. Yeah, I did. Cool stuff though.
Yeah. Also, Jupiter has some drama today.
Yeah, but I think it was mostly like FUD.
I agree. It's I don't know. I think there's a small sliver of like validity to it.
Basically, what I understood is they were shorting some people on, or it appeared that they were censoring some people. Give us the TLDR on that one. That one might be the easiest to cover. For Jupiter, I just saw that somebody had a complaint that Jupiter responded and clarified, and I was like, oh
no, for the Jupiter, at least the Jupiter stuff that I was seeing was just obviously, we're talking airdrop. And there was, a bunch about voting and how many times you voted and all the different things that they've done. Jupiter proposal voters is basically who we're talking about here. And there was just like something about verifying an email address to claim, and it was hotly contested. And
I saw that's what it was, and I saw that they responded to say like, you can give a fake email address, it can be a total bunk thing, you don't need to reveal your identity or compromise your privacy in any way, was the response. Which
is fair, but I do believe that it just bears mentioning there is at least some validity and fairness, and it's I think it's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I agree that you can just whip up anyone can make a Gmail, but just the idea in general is adding one more layer to something that is not supposed to or doesn't necessarily need to be there. And if it was a compliance thing, just say that. I think that's a thing that we can all understand and recognize at this point, or kick the airdrop can down the road a month and wait and see what happens into the administration. You know what I mean? Like, so in my humble opinion, literally just an opinion, I don't think that Jupiter was 100% innocent there. I don't think that it was an unfair critique.
Well, antagonistic, just generally. I think Meow is more concerned with building his own personal reputation and might sacrifice the platform to do it, and doesn't care if his reputation is negative, is kind of my take on things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, that was sort of the vibe that I got from all the people who were agreeing with, I believe it was Kook on Twitter who was talking about, or who at least kicked off the conversation talking about, it being kind of lame to put the email on there.
So Sonium, you want to touch on that? That's really interesting. I saw. Go ahead. You got a screen share?
Yeah. I'll grab it really quick here.
And I see some questions coming through. We'll definitely answer this question in just a second about airdrops and how we know if we get something in our wallet whether it's legit. So stay tuned for that. That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Screen share me, Daddy.
Right, here we go.
Decentralized father.
Decentralized father. All right, here we go. I'm trying to find. These are all. I don't want Sonium's announcement. I want the.
No, Vitalik had a tweet about it, and turn your camera, Evan. I'm working on it. Vitalik had a tweet about it. I think Benji had a tweet on it, and I remember it well enough to summarize it.
I would love for our community to start bullying Evan.
Yeah, do it, guys. I can take it.
Great.
Wait,
just search. Alex just searched Sonium.
Benji did it because I'll just. I did. There's just way too much Sonium marketing. But if Benji tweeted, then I'll just grab his.
But I couldn't find it. I actually was looking for it too. Sonium is the private blockchain layer 2 launched by Sony on top of ETH.
Oh
and
yeah,
talked about it
yeah. It has a horrible name. I just erased it from my memory.
Yeah, I am interested in it, and the basic TLDR of the story is that there was a transaction, or they've had a lot of people now that their chain is open. Hang on, I'm flipping me around until you figure this out so people don't have to double will. There was a trend, as there often is, to start launching meme coins on their platform. The first thing crypto degens do when they get a new blockchain is they start finding ways to launch meme coins. And Sonium was like limiting these smart contracts, censoring transactions, stopping people's ability to interact with them. So they would buy these meme tokens, and then they would get limited.
They were being permissioned. They were being permissioned.
And it was essentially turning their meme coins to dust because they couldn't move them. And somebody figured out that you can actually, because it's built on top of an open layer 1, you can send transactions through at the base level. And so they just totally went around the censorship wall. It was like an awesome moment for blockchain.
Yeah.
So here it is. Yeah. What's Vitalik say? This wall of text. Hang on. Golly, Alex. Take a screenshot if you want to read that. This is at Vitalik Buterin, the co-founder of Ethereum. You want to give us the TLDR here, Alex?
Yeah. So basically,
I didn't bring my glasses.
Is this the right one, Evan? Do you remember if this is?
This is one. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he's just kind of highlighting the whole thing, and the conflict that I have been seeing about this is the conversation around, well, you should have all known that this was a permissioned ecosystem, versus, you know, like, if you want the open permissionless things, there are other places to go. But of course, that's not how it works ever. So, I mean, Evan, I think that your description was fine. I actually haven't read Vitalik's tweet about this specifically.
It's a little technical.
It's a little bit, yeah. But I mean, you can see right here. So, you know, making a very closed system where there's no escape hatch, where the operator can edit the state route. Honestly, this is already over my head. But then, you know,
I don't know. There were other helpful tweets about it. If people want to learn more about it, it's an interesting moment in our space that we're going to see more and more of, where private companies are launching their own blockchains, and people will want to do stuff on them. And the companies have a vested interest in being able to control what happens on their platforms. But, like, are they going to want to do that if people can just get around their rules? It's very interesting.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yep. I feel like Jesse read that and was also like, I don't know what he's saying. Yep.
Jesse's out in his Birkenstocks.
Also, shout out to Jesse Pollock's sister, who is, I think, got quite the following on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She sure does.
Bullish.
And I thought you were about to say has quite the, and it started with an F, and I was like, figure?
She's quite the gal.
Talking about Jesse Pollock's sister.
She's been putting in the work on her brother's behalf on TikTok.
Yeah, she really has. I know we had one or two other topics to get to then, but can we address this question about, if I get an airdrop to my wallet, how do I verify that it's legit? And can one of you guys explain the practice of dusting and help us understand, like, when it's a cause for concern, when it's not, what to do, etc.?
Yeah, I think, Alex, you're more qualified for that.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know about that.
Give you a point for that, Alex.
You guys play. I was about to say play around with the scams more. That's not true, but you guys, you know. Like,
I do scam more. Yes, thank you, Will.
Scam a few more people than me do. Yeah.
Anyway,
go for it.
The easiest way to think about dusting is getting spam. That's pretty much what it is. Spam can be harmless, and it can also be really malicious. So in the same way that you would never open an attachment on an email that you are unfamiliar with, whoever sent it to you, you didn't ask for it, you don't know what's in it. That's the same kind of deal here. If you get a token and you didn't ask for it and you don't know where it came from and you cannot figure out where it came from, the best thing that you can do is just ignore it. There are things that can be built into these things, into these tokens, that can be spammed at you, that can inadvertently give someone access to other things in your wallet, in the same way that you might accidentally download a keylogger virus from a PDF that somebody sent you that has nonsense in it or whatever. So easiest way to do it, if you don't interact with it, there's nothing they can do. Anyone can send anything to your wallet, but you have to actually do something to give it permission. If you're concerned, you can, of course, dramatically overreact and move all of your stuff to a different wallet and start over. But because most of these people send these things to wallets that are already holding X, Y, or Z, more often than not, if you do that, you're just going to get dusted again. I have
and really quickly, that's how they found you, is you hold a token and they went on the blockchain where everything is publicly available. You didn't probably compromise your information, and they don't know who you are. But the same way that I might put a flyer on a car at a concert, it's not personal. And so they also, the other thing, Alex, is sometimes they'll manipulate.
I'll take that back. If you are like a well-known figure and your wallet address is public, like Vitalik, for example, people send him extra garbage all the time just to be able to say, like, hey, look, Vitalik holds my meme coin. Which, you know, that's one of those things. But in general, sorry to rug you there, Evan, but
no,
it's not personal. It's just spam.
Well, that's the other thing. Always manipulate it. Go ahead.
I always like to imagine that Vitalik, when people send him a bunch of like random crap coins, be like, see, Vitalik's a holder. I just imagine him as like the Travolta meme in Pulp Fiction, where he's just like, It's my favorite. I love that. Just also imagining Vitalik in his like awkward, gangly alien form doing that also brings me pleasure.
Yeah. I wanted to just address too that sometimes these dust tokens, if you want to verify if it's legit or not, they can be valuable, but they can also manipulate them to make them look valuable. And they might be, a honeypot. You might see a dust token in your wallet. This happened to Carol recently, where she got airdropped something that showed it was worth $6 trillion or something like that. And the way to ensure it is to go to a site like Dex Screener. You should jump in a community like the Rise Up Discord and ask somebody if you're unsure, but go to Dex Screener, paste the contract address, which you can find at the token in your wallet, and just take a look at it. There are audit sites like Token Sniffer connected to their dashboard that will tell you if there's anything concerning about this token, like if it's what we call a honeypot where you send them money and you can't get it back, or if it's a legitimate known airdrop, because sometimes that happens. If you're, staking your crypto tokens on a certain protocol, they might airdrop you tokens. Or if you registered early and tried out their website and gave some feedback, they might give you tokens. Dave, our friend, got the Solana Saga phone early and got a bunch of airdrops of mostly meme tokens that were worth, I think, at the end of it all, like $1,500. So, you can do pretty well with that kind of thing, but got to be careful.
And Megan asks something that I have been whining about literally for years. It's insane to me that no one has created a way for me to turn off deposits on a wallet, to like reject incoming transfers. I should be able to like turn
my mailbox.
Yeah. Like that exists in other instances of being able to be sent things. And I get not, but like nothing on chain has to change. Like you could attempt to send, and then the ledger could reflect that it was not accepted. I don't know. I wish that there was a way for me to block bullshit.
That would be a killer app.
Yeah, it really would be.
Such a killer app.
Exactly. Make it a service.
Yeah, I'm giving myself a point for that. I think the reason a lot of blockchain companies have struggled with it is because to do something like that, they think you have to.
Did you just take my whole idea, bumper sticker, then give yourself the point?
Listen, man, I have had that idea for a long time, and you know it. We both had that idea.
I don't know.
You want to
I've
play for
only
it,
ever
too?
heard Alex say. Yeah, but
Are you kidding me? You've only ever heard Alex say that?
I've only ever heard Alex say that. I think you just stole points and you deserve negative points. In this moment of the game, you didn't bring it up. He brought it. Well, I'm pointing the wrong way. You brought it up, not you. He deserves the point.
Okay, fine. I will gwump myself.
There you go.
Damn right you will.
Damn right. You fucking gwump yourself. You little gwumper. You little gwumper.
Just because they were very patient, do either of you have any opinions on Manta?
On Manta? I forgot that was the topic that came.
Dude, I haven't looked at Manta in such a long time. It's very out of trend right now.
It's out of trend, but I understand it's an interesting piece of infrastructure. Like I remember when it was hype, and I feel like I know a lot of DeFi people who are still kind of bullish on it, even though it's not in vogue.
I think it's because they've done the thing.
Modular blockchain, right?
Yes.
Yeah. The first.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And they slapped ZK back in there too, or it added it this year. Which I would be really curious. If you've asked about Manta.
Oh, it's a parachain. Sorry.
I always like to know why. Why is it on your radar? What is it that introduced it to you? Are you bag holding from last time, or is it like freshly on your radar and you're curious about it?
I remember looking
they have
at
an update that I just missed.
That's true. I remember looking at it a while back when it was hot and realizing that I was bullish on like the ecosystem was growing at the time, but I didn't think that it was cool that they were on Polkadot, because there are a lot of very passionate people on Polkadot. They've done, obviously we love them, but I don't think they're the place you want to be launching the next killer app, right? They're not abstract in that sense.
We talked about this in Prague with a couple developers that I have absolutely no doubt are building something cool, important, and that runs really well. And they told me the most dangerous phrase that a founder in crypto can tell me, which is, at some point, eventually people will figure out that the tech is good and they will all come here. And I was like,
no,
they won't.
I was with you, but I was compelled by his argument that he was talking about, Solana, he was talking about Ethereum, and he was just, I wish I could reciprocate the technical conversation.
I remember.
But, he had a number of reasons that he didn't think those things could scale and that Polkadot was the most well positioned to. And I'm with you, but
see, that's not wrong, and that's not the argument.
I think that is wrong, but also anyway, continue.
What I mean by not wrong is just the idea that, like, yeah, sure, but what that is implying is that at some point someone else is going to come along and do all the marketing for me, and so then my shit will go up by proxy, which is not the way that it works.
Totally.
And there's no world in which you can put Solana's marketing and messaging and culture in one and Polkadot in the same conversation.
Well, but here's the thing: the highway doesn't need a marketing budget; it just needs people to use it.
Yeah, but no one's gonna go use a thing that's out of their way. No one's gonna take a weird little back road that requires a 4-hour one-way trip through some sketchy neighborhood to get to, just because it's a really smooth road. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta have a really good reason to go all the way over there. Mm-hmm. And right now, there is no good reason for a consumer who's interested in testing out a new app or playing a game or doing whatever to go to Polkadot, even though it's great and it works really well. I mean, I use the example of my dad all the time, who was doing developer things and found an engineer's reason to go use Substrate because it was the best option for XYZ. But like, I would never land there in my quest to find a new game to play today. And I wanted to be Web3 in nature. If
you do not have an effective or at all sales and marketing strategy, you are not a business, you are a science experiment.
Mm-hmm.
That's well said.
Yep. And it's not to say that someone might not stumble upon it and say, this is badass, but it's not going to be adopted by the masses or even by the moderate sized crowd.
Right. And people don't get excited about the highway. They get excited about driving to see my family across the country. Like, they're not going to be like, Polkadot is they're not going to wear the Polkadot sweatshirt. And you know what I mean?
Just to keep the metaphor going, because why the hell not? They'll hit potholes on the way to get there, which is exactly what Solana's doing. Doesn't matter.
Nice metaphor.
Yeah, and it's what Ethereum did too.
Exactly. I mean, and the crappy part is that it's really hard to have that conversation with an engineer without them taking it personally, and that's never how I've never meant it that way ever once.
Alex, can you show us DeFi Llama for Manta really quick? Mm-hmm. And then just for the vibes, before we get out of here, can you Google hot dogs on Abstract? Because I think everybody agrees we're going to need to see that. You know what I'm saying? And of course, if you've got a crypto question, it's always a good time to ask it. We're going to be back again at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, Central Standard Time, for our friend Dunleavy, Tom Dunleavy. Right, Tom? It's Tom? Thomas? Tom? Mm-hmm. And he's going to be here.
Did anyone else catch how far down the thing I had to scroll to get here?
To get to Manta? No, it's far down. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Actually, I want to show that because that's a really good point. Can you show me that drop down?
I had Manta's DeFi Llama on as well. It's not great.
So here's the
so
list.
These are all the ecosystems when you come to DeFi Llama, arranged by TVL. So Ethereum is first, Solana base, everything else, and then you got to search for anything that's not in like the top 15 or whatever. And where was Manta, Alex, when you searched it?
Well, let's just
it was way down there.
Let's just keep scrolling. Let's just keep scrolling past a bunch of shit no one's ever heard of. And
past Multiverse X, which is painful. Past XRP, which is painful.
Let's go a little bit further, and there it is.
Hey, it's above Stellar.
You know what, though? Interestingly, I found out from a source that I do trust on this. Stellar and XRP don't report TVL in the way that DeFi Llama aggregates, and these numbers are both wrong. And if you look at it, the chart really does look absolutely sus. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah,
odd.
I got that from one of the Stellar people, that they're actually talking to DeFi Llama and trying to get it fixed because it's not queryable in the same way.
Interesting.
But here you go. There's Manta, $65 million. It peaked March of this year, up at like almost $1 billion, and
that's when we were all talking about it.
Yep. Woof. Just look at that. This is a span of 2 days, and they lost $500 million of TVL. Damn. And then another month and a half later, they lost another 30% more of it. And then there you go.
That's
a little
painful.
bit after that, down, and it's just been bleeding ever since. And now here we are at 64.
Yikes. This website is DeFiLlama.com. They are not a sponsor of the show, but boy, would we love it because we use them all the time. They're definitely great for your crypto toolkit. And what are Alex is looking now at a list of different protocols that are there. Hang on, let me see this.
These are all just a bunch of things that don't have any money.
That make up that TVL number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is here, you'll notice that both categories or both columns over here for fees and revenue are 0.
Atrocious. Hundreds of dollars in fees in the last 24
Like,
hours.
I found more change in my couch cushions today.
Damn.
Than Manta is making in revenue.
Can I come over to your house and look for change at your couch? That's I wouldn't be sad about $286 in couch change.
It's a lot of change.
That's a lot of change, man.
I'm being facetious.
I'm gwamping Mantle. Mantle's
What
great.
holes do you have in your pocket?
But for comparison, and this is an extreme example, but if we pop over here to Ethereum and you just look at you look at Lido, Lido made $250,000 in revenue today.
Yeah,
more than that actually.
Highlighted by the glow of the ring light.
That's
almost $3 million in fees just today. And Lido is down 16% in TVL over the last month, which makes perfect sense. People are, moving ETH around. You'll see these TVLs go up when markets are super boring. But anyway, that's just for comparison. Stuff in crypto does make money, just not Manta.
Yeah, great quick question about will the value of my XRP or Bitcoin or Ethereum change if I put it in a wallet? A lot of people have this question, and the answer is yes. Your crypto changes value with the market because where it lives is actually in a record on the blockchain. Another idea I'll steal from Alex, which is like a magic notebook that keeps a record of truth about everyone's assets, who has what. Your wallet is just an interface you use to access that information in a human-friendly way.
Oh, that is not how I was going to answer that question because I misunderstood it. I was like, no, putting it in a wallet doesn't make it more valuable. I was like, it's not like a point system. Like, you're active on chain. Here's more. Better. I was so confused by that first. I was like, what?
K13 said, give yourself his point, and so I'm going to do what the audience requests. We got to make the audience happy here. JPill asked, is it too late to get in on Luna, which I understand is probably a joke. What's going on with Do Kwon these days? I know he's facing some imminent legal proceedings.
Isn't he being extradited to the U.S.?
Currently, I believe he may have been extradited.
Yeah, he was extradited to the U.S.
Yeah. Gwump for Do Kwon.
Big time going for Do Kwon. What do you think? Any last minute questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom? We've got a couple minutes left, and we don't have to ride out of here right yet, but we will have a great show tomorrow morning.
Speaking of Do Kwon.
Oh, Dunleavy won't be able to make it tomorrow morning.
Oh, he won't?
No, he wants to try to reschedule the next week, and I was like, yeah, sure, man. We might not have TikTok, but we can still do it.
Gwump for Dunleavy and Do Kwon. We will post his predictions for the year ahead.
I'll let him know that he was mentioned in the same breath as Do Kwon.
And I'm about to mention him in the same breath as Justin Sun.
God damn. That's a rough start.
Just because, speaking of Do Kwon, Justin Sun tweeted today, or there were. Did you see the talk about the stablecoin thing on Tron US? Was it USDD? Is that their? US.
No, USDT.
No.
That's Tether. I forget.
USD. Whatever.
It's a stable coin and it's on Tron.
Yeah. And with advertising 20% APY on some platform, and immediately Molly White quotes it, and she's just like, Terra anybody. And then wrote a whole big thing about it, and then Justin was whining, and then of course all the comments were like, I don't know, Justin has enough money to keep that train going for a while. And I was just like, like you get to 20%, and the reason that Aave makes sense is because people are actively borrowing there, and the APY is like good, but it's not obscene to where I'm like
8%,
30%, really? Okay.
Their liquidity is so deep too. The collateral is solid. I mean, they're a fortress.
Because the collateralization rate on Aave is 270%.
Yeah.
So like beefy, right? But like you start to get into 20% APYs on stablecoin yield, and I'm sketched out. And anybody who watched Terra happen should be sketched out. Like play it, pull the lever, but like be careful and be ready to cut and run. Like don't sit there for that long. In my humble opinion, I would not mess with that for that long, because go look at Terra.
Yeah,
Lump,
exactly.
Lump for Terra. Yeah.
Any thoughts on drift? I don't remember what it is. I feel like I've heard it only in the context of people asking about it on TikTok.
Oh
so
yeah,
I'm going to Twitter.
drift.
No.
We've looked into that before.
Have we?
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
we
say,
have.
Alexandra, shill me on drift. What's
Drift protocol. Let's see.
it
According
sounds
to
so familiar.
it is the home of on-chain trading on Solana. Trade, earn, predict. Oh yeah.
Oh, I've used this. I actually did some leverage trading experimentation on Drift. It's the
Did you
only
win?
place I've ever done leverage
Are
trading
you
on
winning
Solana.
some?
I won some and lost some,
Fair
and had a good time. I had fun with it.
Honestly, I like what I'm seeing on Twitter. It seems like a DeFi play. I don't want to know what their DeFi
Yeah,
level looks
I got
like.
their airdrop. That was one of the things
was
I
just
was
gonna ask
airdrop
about that.
farming in 2024, along with Camino, Jido, few what was it, Margin,
Yeah.
Marinade. I was airdrop farming all of those on Solana. Yeah, I like Drift. Drift is a very easy to use platform for leverage trading on Solana. And you can do something as simple as like 1.7x and have some nice casual fun, light fun with leverage there. And I don't even think you can go that big on it. At least I don't remember. I think like the biggest, but when I say that big, I mean you can't do like 100x. I think the biggest was like 20x, which is still crazy. It's crazy. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But,
it's funny that in crypto, 20 and 30x leverage is considered like
light.
conservative. Yeah.
It's like how
you
responsible.
dabble.
How
Little
responsible.
leverage. Yeah. I dabble with
You
leverage.
guys really protect your consumers.
Who's a competitor for them in the Solana ecosystem, Will? Like who? I see they have a $10 million market cap as of like a day ago. So they're tiny.
I don't know, man. Put me on the spot. I don't know.
Okay. Alex, can you pull up the DeFi? Because I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Favor? Okay, thank you.
Focus, what's going on? We are
Focus.
winding
Hey,
down,
Aaliyah.
but taking a peek at the llama.
We're taking a peek at the llama to look up
Wow.
Drift. We've talked about Manta. And if you missed it, man, we had a great interview with Phin, the marketing lead at Abstract, abs.xyz, that he says is familiar for its association with pudgy penguins, but is a totally different thing. And it is cool what they're doing to reach consumers with like actually helpful stories about crypto. What is that? That was so cool. For everybody on Facebook,
Ooh,
just give me. You see, of course, that's Aaliyah. Aaliyah has some of the best gifts in the game. Thank you
I
very
didn't
much.
I did not see the gift, and I thought that was the reaction to the fact that Drift has $1 billion in TVL.
Wow. Honestly,
Which,
I would react that way also.
there's so much money on Solana.
which to be clear, like as we just looked at the TVL for all of Manta, which was 65 million, Drift by itself as one protocol on Solana, which by the way, is only the 8th biggest protocol on Solana by TVL, has what is that? Like 20 times more TVL than all of Manta.
But I'm concerned about those revenue numbers over here, the fees and revenue. Like that to me for $1 billion of TVL is makes me nervous.
But the one thing that I notice about this is that fees and revenue are almost identical. And look at something like Jido or up here at Radium, where you're paying millions and millions of dollars in fees every day, but that only translates to a few $100,000 in revenue versus here. So like this is really just low ass fees and all of that is revenue, which just means that it's probably super volatile depending on trade volume. But like, so what's all the TVL doing?
What's the chart? And what's the chart look like? Like
if I remember correctly, you can stake on Drift too.
I mean, it's pretty much
it's
up
ripping,
only.
man. That's.
Whoa.
I would be now like you got me interested in making a frisky play on Drift because I feel like even though the market cap has been kind of up only $10 million in market cap for $1 billion in TVL, to me is like way undervalued.
Yeah, but it's been that way for a long time, yet the price hasn't really popped off. At a time where there have been times where everything has been popping off. So it's interesting that it just hasn't captured.
I wouldn't call that not popping off. I mean,
so
that's the TVL, right? Not
but
the
that's
price?
the market cap below it.
This is market cap in orange and TVL. So it's aligned at least, but you know, actually I wouldn't say that because here, look at this. You got market cap is pretty much ranging while TVL.
And I must have had a bad source because Alex, highlight market cap again. That's looking like hundreds of millions. I don't know what the hell I was looking at. That's
The thing is,
that seems much more realistic.
The price for drift
315 million.
only went up. There's 2 days. In 2 days, it went up 477% in November, November 8th to November 9th.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make any goddamn sense. And afterwards, it didn't really do a whole lot. Granted, the markets were quiet, although it's kind of shown a little bit of strength, oddly enough, because it didn't really fall too much. But like,
well,
this doesn't strike me as a healthy chart.
That's a little interesting.
That's fair.
Do you guys have the price? I can share.
Do you? Okay.
$1.15.
I'll just share my screen right here. Although I know I should probably just have.
No, man, that's good. That's good. TikTok, it honestly looks a lot like the market cap price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which tracks.
Which does track.
Because fully diluted. Oh, and I mean, it's not. What is that? 30% of the supply is circulating.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see if they have Lux coming up. I'd be curious to
less.
look at it in context of Solana's chart with some other metrics for like Sol to see, are they keeping pace? Are they leading? Get a picture on it. But I don't know, Will. I hear what you say, and I don't discount it, but I would take another look. This is drift for people who ask.
Here's the question is there inflation? So I would hazard a guess that the answer to that is yes, because only a third of the supply is circulating. But we can actually come right over here to token unlocks, also on DeFi Llama, and just search drift and see if it posts. So there's nothing scheduled, so maybe not. It must all be being held without a specific drip plan, or at least nothing announced.
Interesting. Okay, guys, I think it is that time that we announce the winners for the show tonight in the points totals. And I would love for you to let us know your final thought, your question, suggestion, your good joke, your word of wisdom. If you haven't already, join us in the Discord server, and then join us again on the Rise Up Morning Show. We'll be back tomorrow and every Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. Possibly not on TikTok, but that's okay because we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube in widescreen. And you can find all the links to our official socials at theriseupmorningshow.com, or you can get them in the Discord. Don't fret about that. And on that note, these are our only profiles. Wherever you're watching us, this is it. And there is no one else. But there are lots of impersonators who will reach out to you to try and gain your trust to steal your money. So the best way to stay safe is don't respond to DMs. It's always too good to be true. We will never DM you first. Add us here, follow us, and then you'll be in touch with us. That's the best way to keep ourselves safe. And we'll do final thoughts in a second. But my friends, you ready to hear these points? With -1, because they got guamped, we've got Doquan, Dunleavy, BTC, and the SEC. So try again next time, guys.
Yikes.
After that, with 1 point, we have got Parallel.
Valid.
With 1 point for food poisoning, we've got Abril.
Rip.
With 2 points and 1 guamp for a total of... 3 points and 1 guamp for a total of 2 points. That's Will. 3 points and 2 guamps for a total of 3 points. That's me. Phin has 1 guamp and 4 points, and our winner for tonight with 6 points, no guamps. I can't even believe it, is Alex Popovich.
What do you mean you can't believe I didn't get guamped?
I can't believe
Never would have happened if I was here for the whole time.
Yeah,
you're right. You would have gotten more guamps.
Or if Phin was here the whole time. I think Phin was on the train to take this thing home.
No, for sure.
Okay, so what's your final thought? Your last question, your suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom, aside from the fact that you won, because
win.
Good for you.
Yeah, it really says a lot that I won a game rigged and controlled by Evan.
Man, I'm partial.
You really
it's not that rigged because Evan never lets himself win.
I am gonna start giving myself more. I really tried. You guys held me to that.
Well,
to that
you fucked up.
And I did fuck up. Tried to steal Alex's point.
You tried to steal Alex's point right in front of all of our faces.
You got to keep the game honest.
All of our faces.
He says, fabulous live show as always. Have a great day, everyone. We appreciate it. Alex, what's your final thought?
That I think Evan is playing the long game with these points, and one day he's just going to give himself 40 points and crush all of us in the ultimate rug. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Will, what about you, man?
I actually think we have some more macro data that's supposed to come out tomorrow about retail sales, retail US sales. I need to double check
Big
that.
week.
Sales. Let's see. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's January 16th. It came to me in a vision while I was drinking.
That's how you know Will has a problem. He's like in and out of consciousness and drunk and just like consumer data.
Having visions about crypto.
Consumer
retail
data.
sales.
I'll have to look it up again. But yeah, U.S. retail sales monthly analysis. Oh, here we go.
Will's friends
anyway,
are all just toasting to friends and family and love and health, and Will is toasting to
The
lower than
RSI.
expected PPI.
Lower than expected core PPI.
Will, it was such a burn from
Why
you
is
this
he a
morning.
pirate? Yarr.
When we got the data this
What, a
morning,
burn?
and you were like, your reaction was like the ultimate diss burn. You were like, "What's the data?" And then you were like, "Oh,
No.
it's average." I was like, "Wow," you
Fine.
know what I mean? Like, dang, just shot it down. It was
It's
fine,
fine.
but
I mean, it was just fine.
it was fine.
It's fine.
Nothing special.
It's average.
Whatever. I can't find confirmation rate. It should be either.
Oh, hang on, you got rugged. Start it again. It
Rugged.
should be either what?
No, it should definitely be tomorrow because the last data release was December 17th. They can't release on December 17th because it should be tomorrow because the last data release was December 17th. They do it every month. They can't release the data on January 17th because that's Saturday, so it should be tomorrow.
Yeah. Plus, we'll talk about the unknown unlock.
So
We'll
anyway,
answer your
retail
crypto
U.S.
questions.
sales data coming out tomorrow. That's important.
And really quick,
no,
I
I got
want to yield
rugged.
my final thought. I think you did. Can you hear me? Test check 1, 2.
You're good. Will's
Okay.
lagging.
Okay. Alex,
I can hear you. It's
somebody
me.
asked about XLM in the comments, and I actually want to give you the chance to give a final thought because you're literally wearing a Stellar sweatshirt right now.
I am wearing
A very comfortable sweatshirt, I might add.
It's such a good sweatshirt.
Do you have any thoughts on Stellar or XLM that you'd like to share with the audience?
Sure. I can give you my Stellar XLM bumper sticker, which is that it's a solid ecosystem. I'm very much a fan of their team, and I think they really just need to nail the story. I think if they can solve the story, Stellar, listen to me. If they can convince legal to leave them alone and let the incredible people working there just tell the story the way that they want to, I think they can fix the narrative, because right now they're really getting crushed by just being XRP's little brother in people's minds.
Ooh. And also shout out to Alex appearing in a Stellar video with our awesome onboarding your mom sweatshirt on their Twitter profile at the Stellar
Sure, well,
Foundation. That was a really good video.
I'll pull this up and show myself, because it was good.
Yeah, it was really good. We went to Emergence in Prague because Stellar invited us to their Build Better conference beforehand. They are not a official sponsor of the show, but they are definitely friends of the show, and we really love everybody on the team. We like their focus, we like their branding, their mission, and honestly, very bullish that not everybody there is too concerned with the XLM token.
Mm-mm.
So here it is.
Here's the old build on Stellar.
Well, and actually, if you hit play on it when you see it, we should get the sound, and we can hear. I think you're first in the video.
I am first. Yes. God, they tweet a lot.
God, they tweet a lot. Yeah, I got the tag the other day because you had mentioned me in a comment, and I was like, "Damn, man!" That
Oh
was
yeah.
crispy.
There's no way I didn't go past. It was like, nope, they were still only 2 days ago.
They're tweeting, man. They're tweeting big.
Good Lord, they're bullish. Oh, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
There's been a few moments where and I think I know who's running this Twitter. I have a hunch.
It's so
and-
active. I'm bullish
Yeah.
on that.
I left them a comment the other
Here it
day
is.
on
Overheard
Instagram.
Prague. Here it is.
There it is.
Look at him. Look at this
Oh,
guy.
look at him.
Let's
at
hear
me.
what they say. Unmute him. Woo! Look at that crispy video.
Aw, he's so handsome.
All right, let's hear what it says.
Financial literacy is not a skill that is taught in school. Blockchain and Web3 gives that access point to be able to contribute with just a tiny bit. There's no crazy bit. You don't need $1 million to buy a little bit of Bitcoin or something.
It really comes down to allowing money to move.
And that's Anuya. She's
Simple
head of
things
grants.
Stellar could do.
No, we
And
love
oftentimes
Anuya. She's
people
great.
tell
We
me,
love
"Oh my God,
Anuya.
I'm having trouble sending
okay,
money.
fine.
God, it's taking days. I'm like,
Bring back
She's in
Alex.
"There's a solution.
She's in charge
This
of the
product,
money.
This technology exists.
Wow.
You can build
like
on
her.
it.
Financial
Yay.
industry has a problem with transparency.
I-
There's a lot of
Dude, and these
tools,
guys at
there's
Lumen
lots of
Loop were
killer,
regulation,
too.
And unfortunately,
Yeah, they were
it's
very
a lot
sweet.
of abuse. Blockchain allows.
I
Here for
really
Alex.
want to know what's going to happen with the rest of this documentary, because it was a decently lengthy interview. There was a lot of questions.
Yeah, they asked me a lot of good questions too, and I was really bullish on it. So I hope they get a lot of good mileage out of it, and I am excited for them to tell a better story too. I think they've got the funding. I think they've got the people that if they want to, they can. There's a documentary, I'll share it, that they did about the value of stablecoins for everyday people and how easy it is to start using money on chain just to be more secure, cheaper, more efficient. And that's like what they want their story to be. And so I will say that's like maybe the comparison to XRP that I could make. The same way XRP is like, we're going to facilitate payments between institutions. XLM is like, we're going to use this token to bring everyday people on chain and give them access to the benefits of on chain money. But
going to facilitate payments between literally everyone else.
Literally everyone else. So very cool. And hopefully, we'll continue to partner with them. We're talking to them about going to ETH Denver together. We like their work.
We are going to ETH Denver.
We are going to ETH Denver. And if you have questions, or don't think we won't be critical, because we're hypercritical.
No, actually, I think that I got lightly chastised for telling someone on the Stellar team that they need to quit getting cucked by the legal department.
I bet you did.
I would absolutely die on this hill.
I'm sure that could use some cleanup. But hey, it is what it is. It's After Dark. We let our hair down. So thank you, my friends, for joining us tonight for another great After Dark special. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll be in the Discord. That's the best place for your follow-up questions we didn't address. We would love to see you there. The only thing missing is you. So until tomorrow, everybody stay safe,